Welcome to stage 10 of the Tour de France, and we are back in the mountains for the final day in the Alps. Today the riders will traverse mountains in the Alpes Maritimes and then finish in the town of Levant, which is not too far away from Nice on the Mediterranean coast. The mountains get a little bit shorter as we get closer to the end of the stage, and we're on the final big mountain of the course for today, the Col du Turini. Several breakaways went up the road today, but there are two survivors at the front of the bike race. That's Dennis Nsengamana and Harold Skavko. They lead this peloton by around 5 minutes with 55 kilometers to ride. And we catch a glimpse of the new yellow jersey Jean-Marie Caillou, who won the stage yesterday atop the mountain of Rissoul, and he leads the Tour de France by 2 seconds ahead of his teammate Rico Rudiger. Kelvin Moore of Natalia is third place at 50 seconds. Fourth place, Manuel Navarro. Actually, no, it's Hippolyte Toutant in fourth at 1 minute 35, and then Navarro in fifth at 1 minute 41. So still fairly close in the top 5, and there's a time trial coming up on stage 12. So that'll be another big chance for the likes of Toutant to gain some time. On this stage, we haven't seen any brash attacks. We thought this could be the type of stage that could favor a long-range move, but none of the outsiders for the GC that is, have tried, so it might go down to the final little climbs. Around 24 riders still in the peloton. Several pink jerseys of Kyoto still in this group. I count around 5, so Toutant still has plenty of protection. Euskaltel has all of their climbers. I think Natalia has several riders in that group as well. Now back to the front of the race. Dennis Nsengamana has dropped Harold Skavko. The lead of the breakaways has gone down drastically on the Col du Turini, but Nsengamana is the final survivor. He's still 2 minutes ahead of the main field. 3.5 Ks to go to the top of the Col du Turini. This mountain, climbed from the very side that we're climbing it now, is used often in the Paris-Nice stage race. That's the one-week race in March early in the season. Not featured in the VeloTour this time around, of course, but in real life, it's a very famous mountain in that bike race. Only introduced recently, but it's gained popularity very fast. It seems Wilmer Rodriguez of Euskaltel Euskadi has tired a bit in this main field, but no one is choosing to attack the yellow jersey. Rico Rudiger, who lies in second place overall, still there to protect his team leader, Jean-Marie Caillou. Now we'll see if we get an interesting leadership battle between Rudiger and Caillou, because Rudiger is only 2 seconds behind, and a time trial is coming up on stage 12. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rudiger has thoughts of taking that yellow jersey for himself, but at this point it seems either of those two riders could win the Tour de France. The top of the climb approaching, and Nsengamana passes through the summit first, so he will take maximum points for the King of the Mountains. We'll have to see the virtual lead in the KOM jersey, if Nsengamana through all the points has made some inroads to leading that polka dot jersey. Zorzi attacks in the peloton for a few points, and we get the standings for the King of the Mountains. Lucci is still the virtual leader, Guillermo Gasada behind by just a single point, Cooper, and then Nsengamana. So it looks like Rodolfo Lucci will keep that jersey for another stage, and he could try to score a couple points on these final 2 climbs, although only 3 points if he wins both of them. It's not very much. Looks like Jeff Cooper is still here for AlphaTauri, collecting bottles for Luis Sancho and Yevgeny Balashkov. And I believe AlphaTauri really should have attacked further from the finish today. They have 2 very good climbers, but not quite in the class on these huge mountains like Caillou and Linkshin and Navarro. So they really should have tried something and been more aggressive, but it seems they're waiting for the final hills. But if AlphaTauri does not make inroads on the GC, because they're not going to gain time in the time trial, they'll actually lose quite a bit more with Luis Sancho. They really should try and get in some of these breakaways, see if they can steal back some time and go for stage wins. The way Euskaltel are riding, you'd think they owned every inch of this road, but Nsengamana not giving up, still 2 minutes lead as we head down this descent. The Côte de l'Escarène is next. It's a short little climb. We'll descend, and then we have the climb of the Chateau Neuf, which is long but fairly gradual, another short descent, and then a false flat up to the finish. So it's not an easy finale, even though it's not a big mountain. It's good terrain to try and launch an attack. So twisting and turning through the valleys in the Alpes Maritimes, and in Singamana he started the Côte de l'Escarène. 3.5Ks averaging 6.7%. The peloton should shortly follow. Singamana seems perfectly suited for these breakaways. He was very active in the Giro d'Italia, and he won the King of the Mountains classification in that Grand Tour, so he has some pedigree in this type of terrain. Wilmer Rodriguez seems to have recovered, so he's back at the front of the peloton, still able to do some work here, and Kyoto starting to amass riders near the front. So maybe they're plotting to launch an attack, either with Tuta or Ibai Leida. Before yesterday's stage, Ibai Leida was up there in GC in 2nd place, but he lost some time on that mountain, so now he's down in 7th place, 2 minutes behind the leader Caillou. But we're not getting much action on the Escarène, as in Singamana wins another climb, but that was just a category 4, so 1 point for Dennis in Singamana. A bit rude for the organizers to make that a cat 4 this late in the stage. But the next one, category 3, so 2 points instead of 1 for winning that. That was the 20 kilometers to go banner. I don't think Singamana has the margin to win this stage if anyone attacks from the peloton. But if they continue to sit around and ride tempo like this, then he will have a chance. Breakaway has already succeeded in the Tour de France. That was stage 8, finishing atop Val Cenis, when Rodolfo Lucci survived, as well as Jeff Cooper. But Lucci attacked at the end and won that stage. We'll see if Singamana can do the same thing. On to Chateauneuf, and it's Rico Rudiger, who is trying to set some tempo, but Carlos Nello is just going to attack anyway. He's got some riders in his wheel. That could be Yevgeny Balashkov, Manuel Navarro, Callas or Leida, and others trying to get on terms. Rudiger just riding steady tempo, he wants to keep this under control. But this is the terrain where teams can attack Euskadi on these punchy short climbs. The orange jersey climber is not quite as explosive as some of the other riders, especially the likes of Balashkov and Sancho of AlphaTauri. And here comes Balashkov with another attack. And this is a good move, still a couple Ks to climb, and he's got a gap 26 seconds. The chase down coming from the Kyoto team, that's Egan Callas. Natalia also wanting to bring it back. Natalia has some explosive finishers. They got Kelvin Moore and Rodolfo Lucci still here, I presume. So maybe they want to get this down to some kind of bunch sprint. But the tempo infernal at this moment. So many attacks. Here comes Sumi Kim of Valnor, trying to set something up for Chongling Shen. A full sprint out of the saddle, trying to get rid of everybody. Lucci looks like he's suffering a little bit. I don't know if he'll be there to contest the final sprint. There's still a false flat to the finish, but his teammate Kelvin Moore has attacked over the top of the climb. It was Moore who won on stage 7 in a very interesting small bunch sprint, and now he's attacking again on stage 10. Looking for a second stage win. Manuel Navarro has joined him, and they've got a small gap over the field. Rudiger will try and chase it down, but we're under 10 Ks to ride. Rudiger is a decent descender, but he'll have to work hard. Navarro and Kelvin Moore are not going to make it easy for the main field. I think Rudiger should get this back, and we'll have a real chase up to the finish. It's a false flat around 5 kilometers up to Levon. So a field of 20 still intact, but Kelvin Moore is going to try again with 5 Ks to go. A very aggressive finale of the bike race for Kelvin Moore. He's launched another big move. Navarro not able to sprint across the gap, so Moore's got something to work with here, around maybe 20 seconds. But the teams, many of them, Hackett, Valnor, Euskaltel, Sismic, AlphaTauri, they all want to bring this rider back. Kelvin Moore just trying to hang on. He won't, they should catch him. It's Chongling Shen who's attacking. They've got back to the wheel of Kelvin Moore, but the pressure by Moore is breaking up this main field. Leida has been dropped. Canale is gone, Rudiger is gone as well, and we're sprinting into the Flamme Rouge. And they never really got back to Kelvin Moore. He's still at large, and they won't get back to his wheel. Kelvin Moore is a double stage winner in the Tour de France. He joins his teammate Rodolfo Lucci as the rider to do that this season. And what a race for Natalia. They won a 5th stage in 10 days. top class performance by Kelvin Moore. He was the strongest at the end of the stage, attacking so many times, and they never really got him back. It seemed like Chongling Shin had it, but then Kelvin Moore just kept pushing, and they let him go one more time, and that was all it took. Caillou sprinting for second place, he'll take a time bonus. Ling Shin was third, also getting a small time bonus. Navarro Tutan up there as well. So it looks like 4 of the top 5 were up there, plus Chongling Shin. Rodolfo Lucci lost, not Rodolfo Lucci, it was Rico Rudiger, lost some time at the end there. He was in 17th place. That'll make things a bit different in the GC. So let the riders finish now. I don't think anyone's getting eliminated. And we'll look at the stage results. So for stage 10 from Barcelonnette to Levant over the Alpes-Maritimes, Kelvin Moore, the stage winner by 10 seconds ahead of Jean-Marie Caillou. Chongling Shin third in the same time as well as Manuel Navarro in 4th place. Hippolyte Tutan 5th at 16 seconds. He's lost a little bit more time to Caillou. 6th was Yevgeny Balashkov at 22 seconds. 7th place Carlos Nella at 26 seconds. Luis Sancho and Jeff Cooper of AlphaTauri in 8th and 9th at 29 seconds. Ilyana Pavlova of Doima was 10th at 47 seconds. Lida lost 1 minute 21 to the stage winner, and Rudiger lost nearly 2 minutes. As for the general classification, Caillou remains the leader. In fact, he's extended his race lead over everyone except Kelvin Moore. And Kelvin Moore now 2nd place in the Tour de France, 36 seconds behind Jean-Marie Caillou. Well, we saw him ride in the Giro d'Italia and we were not impressed by his general classification performance. That has completely changed in the Tour de France. He's won 2 stages and now he's up into 2nd place. Hippolyte Tutan up to 3rd at 1 minute 47, same time as Manuel Navarro. Rico Rudiger down to 5th place at 1:53. Chongling Shin continues to climb the leaderboard, now 6th place at 2 minutes. It seems those top 6 most likely to win the Tour de France. Ibai Leida in 7th undowned. Don't really have much of a chance, but we'll see what they can do in the second half of the race. No change in the green jersey, Miroslav Kosha remains the leader, and in the mountains classification, Rodolfo Lucci maintains his lead by a single point. Dennis and Segamana scored a lot of points, but not enough to take that away from Lucci. In the team classification, Euskaltel Euskadi, I think they've actually extended their lead over Nautalia. They lead by 9 minutes at this point, and Kyoto getting back up there, they're in 3rd place. So the field really broke up there at the end of stage 10, some time gaps at the finish line. So a bunch of riders losing time to Kelvin Moore and Jean-Marie Caillou, continuing to perform very well in the mountains. Stage 11 should be a flat stage for the sprinters, and the next big rendezvous for the GC is stage 12. That is a long, flat time trial of around 57 kilometers. And that is a big chance for Rico Rudiger and Hippolyte Tutan to gain time over the climbers. From there, we have some transitional stages across the south of France, including a hilltop finish at Mende, and by stage 16, we will reach the Pyrenees. We have some very hard mountain stages to close out this Tour de France. So as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time for stage 11.